Hey, good morning out there. How you all doing? This is Dr. Dwayne Buckingham. As usual, you got a lot on my mind. I want to talk about the quote that I posted on Facebook. And the quote was this: If your mind is troubled, so is your spirit. You cannot run from pain. Please get help. So I wanted to go a little bit further in explaining what I mean by that. With this recent trending is Lamar Odom, right? So Lamar Odom, basically, as we knew, was experiencing, unfortunately, or was in a coma due to, as they would say, allegedly cocaine overdose. So what I like you all to understand is that Lamar basically was probably suffering from some kind of depression. Now, all that he had been through, we now bring a lot of attention to him because he's in a hospital. The problem that I have with this is there was a lot of signs and symptoms that young man probably had experienced way before he ended up in the hospital. And now we have everybody run into his attention and talking about him. But from a mental health perspective, I'm pretty sure there was a lot of signs and symptoms that say Lamar Odom was actually troubled. The problem in our society is that we have a tendency to turn our head until things get bad, specifically when it comes to mental health. Because in the black community, specifically speaking, when an individual is feeling down, that's all we say. Well, they just got the blues. They're a little down. But I'm gonna tell you, as a mental health professional, there's a difference than being down and actually being depressed. And one of the major mental health diagnoses in America is depression. But in the black community, we often refer to it as just having the blues, or I'm just feeling a little down. I'm gonna help you understand. Depression is not just about having the blues and feeling a little down. Depression is much more intense and it's much more deep. Two of the major signs and symptoms of depression is feeling hopeless and feeling helpless. Now, I would bet you to think that the people around Lamar Odom, if they had taken some time to pay attention to him, that they probably would have observed that he was probably ill, feeling hopeless or helpless. Now, when a person feels helpless, they basically feel like there's nothing they can do that's going to matter. That basically they can get all that there's just no help for them, right? And then the other is hopelessness. When you basically have just lost hope. He was traded from the Lakers to Dallas, and then eventually, teams just kind of like turn their back on him. So when you start to feel hopeless and you feel like there's nothing you had to lose, that young man to start using drugs, period, was a cry. And in society, we miss that cry. And so I really want to help you all understand that when a person's mind is troubled, so is their spirit. So Lamar Odom didn't end up in the hospital just because of that one day that he decided to overdose. Lamar Odom ended up in the hospital because there were signs and symptoms of depression and probably some other things that we missed. Now, my challenge is that we need to do better. And I challenge each and every one of you to pay closer attention to the people that are in your circle, because we have to get better at this thing called managing mental health. We don't get help until it's too late. And I was telling you, there is such thing as called passive suicide. Lamar Odom probably didn't wake up and say, hey, I want to take my life today. But all of his actions, all of his behavior, and everything led up to this event. And we would refer to passive suicide is where your behavior is indicating that you no longer want to be around, using drugs, engaging in destructive behavior. Those things may not say, hey, I am suicidal, but everything that you do says, hey, my life is no longer valuable. So I think I challenge you all to be better at taking care of yourselves and paying attention to the ones who are around you, because we do not have to have these incidents in any community, black, white, Hispanic, or any other community for that matter. I want you all to take care of each other, and remember that if your mind is troubled, so is your spirit. Pay attention to the mental makeup and disposition of the people that you surround yourself by and the circles that you run in. You all be good.